Kat, are you ready to go?
I'm ready, yes, sir.
Okay, Denise, I'm gonna start this meeting. I'm gonna give her a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Kat, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just point at me and I'm ready. All right, it's 6:03. I call to order the Wildlife Management Advisory Commission regular meeting for June 21st. It is 6:04 now. All commissioners are present except for Shannon Drickta, Troy Bippert, and Ken Kniper, who are on excused absences. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, citizens' comment period. There are no citizens to have comment period, so we're going to move on to business items. Number 5, approvals for the April 19th, 2021 meeting, which we met last. I need you to get on your microphone and say "so moved." It's the one with the arrow. It's the big arrow.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So moved.
Can I get a second? It's okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. We will move on to 5B, wildlife and wildlife incidents within the city of Garden Ridge. Any discussions about that? Decently straightforward. I will just say, a lot of fawns being born, obviously, this time of year. Please be cautious, careful. It seems like there's always, obviously, it's always going to seem like there's more deer, right? Because there is. So that's all I've got to say about
There
that
was
particular
one item that I don't think was complete on the first page, at the top of the first page. Can we go back? The year-to-date combined totals for hogs and deer donated were probably 0.
They would all be 0?
It would, I don't know, it just has, it's empty. It's blank.
You're talking about live traps, like,
It's on the second bullet.
yeah. I don't think what I think that means is we just haven't trapped any hogs for this month, or I'm not
The
sure.
year-to-date combined totals for wild hogs and deer donated are,
0.
I think the last hogs they trapped were a year ago.
I don't think
Okay.
I know they have active traps. I think there's passive traps going, but I'm not sure that's, I don't know.
okay. It was just,
It's either like a citizen's request that we have a hog trap like deployed, or there are some, I think Nancy, there's some existing hog traps that are always baited or always out, but those haven't caught anything, so.
okay.
So I think that's the reason for the 0. We haven't had much drought either, right? So-
Yeah.
All right, any more discussion about 5B? Okay. Meeting updates, so discussed, I guess, Wildlife Management Advisory Commission discussion at May and June city council meetings. There was no update to provide, so there was no update given. So, and I talked to I spoke with Shannon Drickta about her not being around today. She said she's meeting with the parks folks later this week as well. So there's really no updates from the Parks Committee either. So anyone want to discuss either one of those non-updates?
I just have an update from Ben Olson, our
Okay.
wildlife person, and he said it's been real busy over the last couple of months with a lot of projects going on. They just wrapped up their annual urban dove survey, and he'd be happy to provide those results if folks are interested. And he's also starting out with the annual dove trapping and banding as part of the federal population monitoring program that biologists have. And they also have an annual turkey survey starting up the 1st of July. He works a lot with private landowners to improve wild conservation in Texas, private lands. So that's what he sent us for his update.
Okay. Good update. Anything else you want to discuss on 5.2? No? Okay. Discussion on dark sky. That was just added, I believe, as a as a follow-up to the last presentation that I think you made. Anyone want to discuss anything around dark sky?
I've got a question.
Okay?
Certain neighbors in our particular neighborhood probably have never heard of this, nor do they read the grapevine. What is the mechanism for bringing it to their attention that they may be in violation of the ordinance?
You would contact I can tell you because I've done it.
Oh, okay.
So, you contact what's like the call, like sheriff's department, basically, the dispatch, and they send out an officer that then looks at supposed violations and gives warnings / fines, I guess, depending upon where they are, citations, excuse me, sorry, yes,
Okay.
for potential violators, so.
So it's you have to complain to law enforcement?
You
to,
call
give
dispatch,
yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah. There, we don't have a code enforcer, like, we don't have a code officer that's not
right.
technically law enforcement. I don't know if code enforcement would be a peace officer.
Our police department acts as our code enforcement.
There you go.
They do our code enforcement. Our police department does our code enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Now, if there's violations against the dark sky, we currently do not have an ordinance, so we would not be able to enforce that.
but there is a lighting restriction, I think.
There
that's
is
what he-
a-
I think that's what he's thinking, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lighting nuisance.
Okay, but again, if a citizen has a concern, they'd have to go to law enforcement and go from there.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions about dark skies? If not, we can move on. All right. Number 4, ordinance 196-032-018. It's on here. I know that we've talked about it. This is really around our cadence of meetings. Isn't that right, Nancy?
Yes.
Okay. So this is around the cadence of meetings for this Wildlife Management Advisory Commission. Enacted initially, it was monthly, with, I think, some parameters around what our scope was, right? Around what we had to do at certain times of the year. There's still provisions in that, like, we've got to do a deer count. We're supposed to participate in said deer counts. There's quite a bit of language in there, but I think the gist of the reason that this one's on here is because we need to discuss if we want to continue to have this monthly. So I'm going to leave it up for discussion for y'all, and then I'm happy to chime in on with my opinion.
I think we should have it every other month or every quarter. Doing it monthly with this thin agenda doesn't make a lot of sense.
One of the requirements is to be providing education, and perhaps that's one thing that we could beef up a little bit, because although we do provide some, it's not regular. And I think we do need to respect that. So, yes, I agree that monthly meetings are probably not necessary. at least at least quarterly, or every other month. But I do believe that there should be an education portion in each meeting.
Okay.
Issue.
My only concern is the preparation for execution and reporting of the deer population survey. And if it's only quarterly, then I think there may be too much of a gap to make recommendations for meaningful action as city council. That would be my reservation.
Okay.
The
Yeah, I would
problem
prefer at
is
least
that there
every
are
other
no
month.
meaningful actions that we can take. We have no areas in the city in which we can trap. And we're in a bind. I mean, we can count the deer, which we will, but we have no meaningful actions left.
I think, fair point. So I think there's a couple ways to go, right? If we do want to reduce the cadence down, I think there's a way to make it, I think, feasible for us to be able to cover all the agenda topics that we would need to talk about, right? And I hear your education piece as well, that's important. I think it's, you know, as far as logistically, can we get a survey done? Can we make sure that we handle all the, you know, commission appointments, terms and that type of thing? I think that all could be done in an August type meeting, which with no problems, right? We can schedule out, when we're gonna do the deer counts, who's coming up for appointment in the end of September, logistically, I think that's pretty feasible, right, from a commission standpoint. I think the only thing that is I think what value we bring right now is your point is around the education piece, right? So I don't know if we've done quite a bit of education. I will say over the past, I think it's 3-ish years that we've been around, I think we've done, and we've also repeated ourselves a little bit because we've run out of topics, right? No offense to anybody who's done some things, but it's just, I think we've tried to educate, we've come up with that wildlife plan that we have. There's been a lot of education. I'm not taking away the fact that we shouldn't keep doing it. We should. I'm just not sure if 4 times a year may be more valuable than 8. If instead of just trying to fill in, education slots and saying, well, this is important because we may do a better job of delivering it said education too if we don't have as many, right? Like just from if that's all we're coming to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of the education, quote unquote education stuff, for example, the June article for the grapevine, I asked Kat to run the same one we ran last year about deer crossing the road and slow down, wait for the babies to cross behind them, because it bears repeating to the 12 people who read it.
And I'm thinking of, I don't know, how fast is our population here growing, Nancy? We do have new people moving in that probably then aren't all aware, and I think especially towards the time of deer counts, go ahead and start talking about the deer again. And, the populations that are appropriate for urban settings and what we can do and how that's treated. I think that bears repeating is very important.
I think that's a fair point too. I don't think going over history, where we've been, right, where we're going, and what the population looks like. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As we continue to have inaction, our interaction with deer will continue to increase for everybody, right? So that's not gonna go away, and maybe having some resources and context for people is important. So I hear your point. So I don't know, we probably need to come with a recommendation. I don't know that we need a vote, Nancy, unless you think it requires that, but
I think at least well,
A consensus?
I think I would make it more than a consensus,
Okay.
especially that you are, it would require the council to change the ordinance.
I just read it, and I'm not sure. It doesn't say that their meetings will be every month on the third Monday. It just says they will meet monthly if necessary.
Oh, it does. Necessary
So
to
that's where I was
perform the
just looking
duties.
at trying to find where do we set the date time? I think that's probably just it. This sounds good.
We'll meet monthly if necessary to perform the duties. And we'll have the authority to schedule special meetings. Okay.
Maybe a
So
consensus.
then a consensus, I think, would be most appropriate to pass forward to the city council to cut your number of meetings down.
Okay. All right, so looking for a little bit of action here as far as the recommendation goes, so I'm up for hearing what somebody would want to do, and maybe everybody can just kind of come to a consensus and say yes or no.
I'd say we start slow and just cut down to every other month to begin with. And to ensure that way that we could be getting done what we need to do. And since it's worded the way it is, we could adjust that as necessary.
Okay?
That's correct.
Okay. So I will is everybody in agreement? Let's just say yes.
Yes.
Is that okay?
All right, so I'll make a recommendation to city council that we're gonna move this to, every other month. We'll have another meeting in August. We'll leave this line item on there to talk about, moving forward and if we wanna continue that. Okay. Fair enough.
Chair,
Yes.
sorry.
Sorry.
This really doesn't need to go as a recommendation to council. I think it's more appropriate as an update to council.
Fair enough.
And for clarification, do you want to meet every other even month of the year? This
That's the
is,
cadence we're on now, right? It's
Yes.
June, skip July, August.
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's,
So staff will have an idea of what
Oh, thank you.
to plan and prepare for.
okay. Okay. All right. Any more discussion about that before we move on? Okay. All right, 5, Wildlife Advisory Commission activities and projects. Updated commissioner activity and projects. We don't really have a lot. I can give Shannon's, she's meeting with Parks Commission to talk about the butterfly garden, Monarch Pledge. Sorry, two different things. Monarch Pledge, she's meeting with Parks Commission. She'll have an update on our next meeting. As far as the butterfly garden, I got a request from a citizen to see if we could get some more seed or purchase more seeds for the butterfly garden.
Milkweed.
What's that?
They like milkweed.
I'm not sure. It's just a wildlife, I'm not saying the right words. Wildflowers, Texas native wildflowers. I think that's where I'm going with that. Yeah. There's apparently some seeds you can buy to kind of continue that effort that we had made initially. So I think the request was around $300-ish, $350-ish, something like that. I don't know what budget we have for that within the Wildlife Commission today. If our budget stands at zero, if there's any left. But that was just a request to talk about kind of the activities and projects that we've had ongoing. So I figured I'd put it in there and just see what's available.
Do we still have a budget?
Y'all still have some money in the budget. It's not a tremendous amount of money. I want to say the seeds were 200 to 300, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't remember how many pounds, but we can do some research.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly either. I know that that was a request, so I didn't know if we could continue that.
We need to do that on a motion, don't we? to
I
spend the
don't-
money?
I don't think so.
Well, we need some direction.
I think we need
To
a little more
order.
information on exactly how much. That was just a citizen recommendation, which is important, but we need to explore that so we can,
We can have more information for you in August then.
Okay.
thank you.
Dollars
And it
and,
may just be a repeat of what we've done last year, and I don't mean to oversimplify it, but I think that's that's what was asked to continue our
Which is
project.
interesting because I thought that most of those flowers were perennials. So I don't know.
I think there's some annuals in there too. I'm not completely sure. I know that they had,
And if that's the case, we wouldn't need quite as much
Yeah.
as the initial.
I don't
So,
know.
yes, we just need to explore more and get more information.
Yeah. I think, yeah. The answer is I don't know I don't know the answer to that particular question. Okay. Okay, future education training sessions. So, to your point around having education, I don't think we have anything scheduled for August. I don't know if we've got 2-ish months here. If somebody would like to volunteer to take something on and potentially work with staff to add it to the agenda
When do we do the deer count?
in August.
It's in August.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we do it I thought it was August. Let me make sure I'm right. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think it was either I think it was late August is what I thought we did it always. Okay. Good. I'm getting head shakes, so that's good. Didn't say the wrong thing.
Because I think if that's the case, that's what the education should gear towards, is to, again, bring up.
Okay?
Maybe we should have the state's wildlife person come back in and do another
Right.
talk about overpopulation of deer.
Exactly what I'm thinking. We've got, and we've got Ben Olson as our biologist. That we could ask him if he would be willing to come in for that.
Deer
meeting.
population follow the science.
Yes.
Okay. Since you've been in contact with Ben, would you mind, I guess, coordinating that and working?
No, I
on-
wouldn't. So do you want the topic, let's clarify exactly what we want the topic to be.
Probably urban deer, like something around urban deer overpopulation.
Urban deer management.
Urban
Okay.
deer management. Got it. That sounds good.
Okay.
I will do that.
We don't want them country deer, we want the urban deer.
Exactly. Unfortunately. We're going urban.
All right, so any other questions about, or any other discussion around number 5?
I have a comment. So
Okay.
when you're talking to Mr. Olson, can you ask him if he can send us his schedule for when he's available to conduct some deer counts? Because by the time y'all meet in August, I think we're gonna be around the time that the deer counts should be starting. So if he can send us, staff, Cat or I, his schedule, some dates, we can get them out to the commission and try to coordinate, just in case there's any that he's wanting to do before that day, or have him come to the meeting at least with some dates if he's wanting to do all of them in September. But I think getting those dates together sooner rather than later is probably gonna be beneficial.
Yeah, you skipped to number 6, but it's fine. We'll just, okay.
I don't
No,
want you to
that's good.
forget about it.
I will do that.
No, you're good. No, I think that's a fair point. I think all of us need to kind of get us our schedules too. So once he tells us when he's available, if he can actually come, then I think we should, I would like to be involved. I think everyone on the commission's kind of obligated to do that, but obviously, we're only going to do maybe 2 counts, maybe 3 at the most. So
And he has they keep the protocol for how to do the counts, correct?
that's correct, yeah. And he, his recommendation is they do 2 or 3. I think it's really 2, but
We did 2 last time,
Yeah.
I believe.
so we'll see how that all
I'll ask-
shakes out.
Okay. I'll
But
ask for his
there's a consideration of quorum that we, all of us can't be there. So it's just one of those. You've got to figure out everybody's availability, what his availability looks like, what everybody else's, and then we can we can put, I think, a couple of commission members together, but that's it.
Yes.
I think were there guidelines that it was a commissioner and a citizen, I believe?
I think we've kind of moved past that. I would like for it to just be commission members, but
Oh, because I did it as a citizen.
you did, yes. But I'm saying, I think
But-
we try to restrict it to just commission members and that,
So the word doesn't count.
yeah,
Yeah, that was that's basically a decision y'all would make.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If we're
Um,
not trapping, there are less citizens interested.
less attention. All right, so anything else we need to talk about? Number 6, since we just kind of talked about wildlife management plan. Anything about hogs or deer management program or anything? Going once, going twice? Okay. All right, ordinance 210, which is basically the one where we have to, I think, show up to city council meetings, is that correct, as commission members? And we used to have a running total of that, of how badly we were doing or how great we were doing, but I'm not, look at that. Great. Okay, so, Ken Kniper leading and making everybody else look bad. That's how I see it. Okay. All right, so I assume this is still in effect or not in effect because of COVID? Which one, where are we on the fence on that one today? Ordinance 210 being in place or out of place? Well, in place or not, I don't know. Can't come up with another word.
210 is still in place.
Well, COVID, y'all
Yeah,
had
but
paused
COVID,
it.
we were not, that had been waived, but we're going to go back to council on that one, aren't we? In our July council meeting,
Okay,
we're going to ask council to,
reinstate?
yeah, or what they want to do
Okay,
concerning that.
okay, so it's still in the gray area. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I need to go to something. All right, so, any questions about that? I think we got it clarified. All right, future agenda items. Anything you want to add to the future agenda items? I think we should add, if we can, Ben Olson, just as you'll probably already have that written down, but. Anything else? We obviously need to talk about deer counts, that probably needs to be on there. That should be about it, unless y'all have anything else. Okay. Next meeting will be not July 19th, 2021. It will be August 16th at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Citizens' comments period. There's no one getting up. So we will adjourn this meeting. It is 6:31. Thank you all.